Jonathan Kott, put on your Democratic strategist hat for a moment and tell me, what do Democrats do here when they hear a soundbite like the one that we played from Lisa Murkowski? What is the strategy for them? Do they try to reach across the aisle subtly, maybe even obviously behind closed doors, or do they pile on now in public, say, look, this is a crack and now we've got to get more people on board?
I don't think they'll pile on. I think this is part of Nancy Pelosi's strategy. The longer that Mitch McConnell can't gavel in the trial and gavel it out without any witnesses, the longer Republicans have to decide whether they're okay with that. And as much as Mitch McConnell might be aligned with the White House in his strategy, he is much more aligned with being majority leader and protecting his majority, and that includes his members who are up this cycle. So I think what Democrats are going to do is let the Republicans decide how they want to handle this. And as they get pressure at home and more comments come out from Republicans, Rudy Giuliani spouts off to every reporter, more witnesses come forward, more court rulings come down in their favor, more emails come out, that's going to put more Republicans in a tough position. And Mitch McConnell controls the Senate, he enjoys controlling the Senate, and he listens to his members. He'll listen to them if they come to him and say, listen, we need to have this trial, we need to have witnesses. So I think Democrats are best to sit back and let Nancy Pelosi's strategy play out. She has proven time after time during her speakership that she knows what she's doing.
Rick, explain to our viewers what we're talking about here when we say the magic numbers that Democrats need to get to in order for them to at least have a say in shaping the process. Everyone kind of knows that it's going to be a tough battle, maybe impossible to get a conviction and a removal from office. But what is the magic number for them to shape this process for it to be fair and credible?
That's a very interesting question, because you have to keep in mind we have only had 2 Senate trials in our history involving the impeachment of a president. And this question is an open question to some extent. So the Senate has very detailed rules about the impeachment process, but nothing in those rules answers your question. So if we look to history, during the trial of President Andrew Johnson and the aftermath of the Civil War, the Chief Justice actually did break 2 tied votes. There were objections from senators who tried to overrule him. They failed to overrule him. Now, this issue didn't come up during the trial of President Clinton. So the historical practice is the tiebreaker is the Chief Justice, although in a normal legislative context, it's the Vice President. But the Vice President is not presiding over a Senate trial, understandably. The Chief Justice is. And so ultimately, my view is that in a 50-50 tie situation, the Chief Justice will have the power to issue the definitive ruling.
And that's going to be very interesting to see, because there has been a little bit of tension between Chief Justice John Roberts and President Trump, at least on Twitter. The president has been very critical of him. Jonathan Kott, one more to you. There's always a concern that Democrats could break from their caucus. Your former boss, Joe Manchin, is seen as one of those possibilities. As far as you know, does he support the way that Democrats have handled this process so far? And are there any other Democrats that could be in his shoes as well that might be a bit wobbly?
I don't think they'll be wobbly. I think they'll look at the facts. I think that we all paid attention to every minute of the House trial. The senators didn't. A lot of them were focused on getting end-of-the-year bills into the final spending package. So that was their major concern. I think that's why you're going to see a lot of Democrats calling for more witnesses, because they know there were a lot of witnesses that weren't able to testify in the House. There were a lot of documents that weren't handed over, and the Senate will want more than the House got. They are the upper chamber. They will always want that. So yes, there's a chance that my old boss will break from the party. He has not told me how he's going to vote. He often didn't until he walked onto the floor, so that's not a surprise to me. But I think you'll see a lot of the members sit, wait, watch what happens in the trial, listen to the witnesses, and make their decision then.